David, what's up, man? How are you? How's the weather in Arizona today?
It is toasty warm in Phoenix, Mark. Thanks for having me on your show.
What are you doing to stay cool this summer? Do you guys have a pool or anything?
We have a pool that apparently had two pipes leading out of it going to nowhere. So that explains why my pool was
Oh, wow.
leaking. So I got that fixed yesterday. But we got a pool, and then the wife and kids escaped to the mountains of Flagstaff. So it's just 2 hours away and 30 degrees cooler. So they're enjoying that, and I'm roasting my tail off here in Phoenix.
Oh my God. It's funny. I've heard the same thing. All of my like California friends that have moved to Arizona, it's the same thing. You got to get away in the mountains or the river on the
Yep.
weekends. Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
Well, I'm stoked to have you on today and to get to talk more about like the exciting things you're doing in the direct mail space. But before we get into that, I always like to ask like what's your background in marketing and direct mail, and like how did you get started in this space?
Yeah, yeah. So I started in the marketing messaging space in 2004. I started a company called Sell It, Cellit for cell phone, and we were the first company to do text for info on real estate. You have to understand this is pre-iPhone and pre-Zillow. So you would drive by a house, you'd want to buy the house, there'd be a flyer box, it would be empty. So you'd text in. So what we did is we put a code on the house, you text in, get info on the house, and then the realtor would get a lead. And I quickly wanted to pivot outside of real estate to just general messaging. So I started something called Coupons app, which was for restaurants and bars to send out drink specials or happy hour or whatever. And then both of those things morphed. And before we knew it, we were handling large text messaging campaigns for Abercrombie and Fitch, Toys R Us, Sam's Club, Office Max, Crate and Barrel, Auto Trader, and a number of others. I then sold that company in 2012, had to work for the new owners until 2014. And then the next day I turned around and I started Handwritten, which is what I'm doing now.
That's awesome. And who do you guys mostly serve with Handwritten?
Handwritten has pretty much, so Handwritten is the largest provider of automated handwritten notes in the world. We've got 175 robots located here in the States. We also have a few in Australia. Um, our clients are anybody that's looking to reach out. So a lot of realtors, mortgage brokers, e-commerce brands, retail brands with physical stores, car dealerships, which is another type of retailer, but unique, and then car manufacturers, and strangely, veterinarians looking to put down pets
Wow.
is a very big vertical of ours. So it really runs the gamut. But what we find is there's kind of fatigue in the traditional email space. Everybody's getting, 5 years ago, everybody would get 135 emails a day. Now it's has to be 200 plus, right? And the average office worker spends about 24% of their time just managing their inbox. Email isn't something you want, it's really a chore now. You spend so much time just deleting it. So, Handwritten was really created to break through that din of electronic communication and provide people another way to communicate, reach out, and build connection. And that's really what we do.
That's cool. And I'm curious, do you find that like a lot of what you guys are doing with Handwritten is existing like customer data, or is it like prospecting top of funnel? For instance, you guys work with data providers as well and your
Yeah.
existing buying lists.
Yeah, so we do both. Our primary business is existing clients, nurturing, post sale, thank yous, that type of thing. I'd say that's 90% of what we do, or 80% of what we do. We also do birthday cards, which is part of that, I guess. We have some automation set up at handwritten.com where you can upload your list, choose a birthday card, or choose different cards depending on who you're reaching out to, so you can have multiple birthday automations. But we do have prospecting too. Through our website, we tie in data, and you can circle an area on a map, set certain criteria. These could be for residences, so you could say all the homes with a net worth, with this value, with inhabitants with this net worth, renters, buyers, etc. Or you can click over to the business tab and choose, I want to target all the dry cleaners in the neighborhood, or all the lawyers, accountants. You can do all that within there too. So we do allow prospecting. The problem with prospecting is it can be quite expensive.
Yeah. And you got to be
And
consistent with it. You can't just hit someone once.
yeah,
You've got to be consistent with it to really have an impact.
we
Yeah.
do have people that have had tremendous success reaching out once, but overall, it's a little bit of boiling the ocean and it's expensive. I mean, handwritten notes, number one, if you're comparing us to like a post pilot or something like that, post pilot, the entire cost is like sub $1. With us, we try to create a really authentic piece. So there's a real stamp on there. The stamp alone costs 63 cents and it's going up to 66 cents in July. So, just by the fact of postage, we have to print your card, we then have to write on it, stuff it, mail it, all that. It's a more expensive offering. However, when talking to our users, the ROI is still there and then some. So, for instance, we have car dealerships that typically send out print pieces, and they see, come in for our Labor Day sale or whatever, and then they switched over to handwritten notes, and they see a 27 times greater response rate from handwritten notes versus the print piece. When you adjust that for the higher cost, which it is absolutely higher, we can't help that, it's still a 7 times greater ROI. So there's certainly cases to be made for spending more to get more. I mean, I have solar panel installers, another very big vertical of ours. They send out 750 notes and they sell one solar roof. But that solar roof is worth $60,000 to them. So, or car dealerships do it. They send out hundreds and they sell 10 cars and buy back three more. So, it really just kind of depends on what you're looking to do. And I'm not saying we're better than print or better than email or better than text or push or anything else, but I'm saying you should consider handwritten note as part of your toolbox and use it tactically where appropriate.
It's so interesting. I have my I just have ideas like twirling in my head right now. Because I've had this idea baking in my head. It's not e-commerce related, but are you familiar with Go High Level?
That sounds incredibly familiar.
Yeah, so Go High Level is like this. It's a CRM system that you can white label, and a lot of agencies use it. Like if you're in any type of like local marketing type of service niche, and you want to white label a whole solution, you can white label Go High Level and have as many users as you want on the back end of the platform for like 297 a month.
Got it.
And so I've actually thought about hacking together like a weekend like 4 hour type of work week business where it would be like the family CRM system and charge like 99 bucks a month and let families have, because every family has like a little blue or black book with all their family contacts in there,
Yeah.
and it's such a pain to send out mail to everyone in your family or text them.
Yeah.
So I thought about, what if I whitelisted Go High Level? You could go completely broad and be like 99 bucks a month. You can email, you can text, could integrate. If I'm assuming you guys have an API integration, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We have.
Yeah, so I'm assuming API in with a service like you guys, as you go into holiday season, you're like, we want to send holiday cards to all of these people. Plug it
And you're
in with you
done.
guys. And it's super
That's very
simple.
true.
I might just hack that together when I get back from Europe in
Yeah,
August.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, we've got ways where through our API you can actually design a card. So you can put your image on one side, a logo or whatever on the back, and then write on it. You can do all of that. I mean, we have some really big brands that do that and then put a QR code unique to the recipient, and then they're able to track back that way. We are actually now doing that ourselves too, but you kind of have to call a sales rep to get it going. We're coming out with new tools next week that will allow you to track delivery. So for a sales team, you can send out handwritten notes and then know when they get delivered and then call them the next day.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we're doing all that type of stuff, really trying to lead the industry in how best to use handwritten notes.
It's crazy how, direct mail was one of those things that just fell to the wayside during like the heydays of Facebook advertising. And then, 2.5 years ago, when CPMs just skyrocketed through the roof again, people are like, there's got to be more effective ways. And with all the data policies changing, iOS 17 kicking in together in a couple weeks, getting rid of all UTM parameters in general, like you've got to be more crafty when it comes to retargeting and even prospecting in general. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And, if it's cost, a lot of these brands, I was talking to a brand the other day, they do compression socks and they sell them on Instagram and Facebook. And, it only costs them a few dollars to make those compression socks, but they sell a 3-pack for like $90. And the reason is their cost per acquisition is so high, right? Like they're paying huge costs to Instagram and Facebook for these compression socks. So really attracting a customer is their biggest cost. And if they can send that person a handwritten note once a quarter or just for their birthday, or really nurture that relationship for a few bucks, I mean, it's a huge, the number one cost in a lot of businesses is retaining their customers. And this is a really simple way to do it. So, yeah, I mean, I have an example. We work with a snack box and they send out snacks to your office. We use them here. And if they screwed up with you and they didn't send you your snacks on time or sent you the wrong snacks or whatever, they'd send you a handwritten note and another box of swag and snacks. And obviously, the box of swag and snacks doesn't hurt, but they found out that those people that had a screw up followed by the handwritten note and the box of swag and snacks, they actually have a higher lifetime value overall than those that were never screwed up with in the first place. So what do? They just screw up with everybody, give everybody the swag, everybody the handwritten note, and raise all boats. So yeah, I mean, this stuff, it's crazy how it works.
That's really interesting. And just looking at LTV over a customer, especially if you've messed up and there's been an issue, to
Yeah,
add that high touch. I think especially like in the D2C e-commerce space, a lot of brands don't really realize like it costs so much money to get a new customer, and you got to do everything you can to keep them. And
100%.
doing little things like that, can have a hell of a difference. And it's so high touch, with someone that's so important. Or even just your highest LTV customers. Like, let's say someone spent over $300 with you over lifetime. They spend a certain amount, invite them to a VIP club, treat those people with something special on their birthday. Like, there's a lot of things you could do there.
Yeah, we actually have a plugin for Shopify that does just that. So you can install this plugin and pick like after they hit a threshold on lifetime value, after they make the first purchase, if they buy something particular that's expensive, whatever, you set up those rules and then those messages just go out. It could be completely custom stationery. Nothing says handwritten on it. We just rolled it out a few months ago. We're trying to get the word out on it. So
That's cool. Tell us a little bit more about the Shopify app and what you guys have going on there.
yeah, so we have, right now it's quite small. You can go onto Shopify, add it for free. You then have to go to Handwritten, create an account. You can actually, if you get a subscription for Handwritten or you prepay for credits through Handwritten, you can apply those to the Shopify app so it can save you a little money there. But then once that's installed, it just puts everything on autopilot and your outreach is on autopilot. So, every time you get a new person to come to the store and make their first purchase and you send them a handwritten note, I mean, if you go to our website, handwritten.com, and it's spelled with a Y, HANDWRYTTEN, and go to the resources tab, there's a consumer outreach survey that we did from last year. And the survey shows that most people don't feel appreciated by brands, and it talks about a bunch of stuff in the survey. But some of the nice nuggets are most people don't feel appreciated by brands. What would they do if they felt more appreciated? And the answers are buy more, refer more, buy more frequently. So if they buy more dollar value, buy more frequently, and refer more. And the number one way to get them to feel appreciated is sending them a handwritten note. So, I mean, obviously, we're the handwritten note company, so we're going to talk about this, but we didn't game the data. We just asked the questions, and the data came back, as we assumed. So, there's real statistics here, with the real R value. I mean, this is statistically significant data, and so by implementing that in Shopify so easily just by downloading it from the Shopify store system. You can add this within a few minutes.
That's awesome. And tell us a little bit more about like what are some of the options that someone can put together when it comes to like the actual print and the stationery, the envelope. Like someone do with that?
Yeah, so we have folded cards, both landscape and portrait. We have flat cards. You can go to our website and upload your own photo, and then we will put it on the card. And then the writing can be different individually. So you could create one card and then send it out 10,000 times, and each of those 10,000 times could have a completely different writing in it. It doesn't matter to us. And then it can have your signature. It could be written in your handwriting if you want. If you don't want to spend the money for your own handwriting, which is expensive, it's like $1,500 for cursive because it takes our designers a week to do. You can choose one of our pre-done handwriting styles. We've got about 40 of those, and yeah, that's it. I mean, through the Shopify add-in, you can dynamically insert their name, their product that they purchased, whatever you want,
Wow.
and it's all just goes out automatically. And then if that solution is not right for you, you can always just visit handwrytten.com, upload your list of contacts, do a birthday campaign. Christmas is always very big around here. So really, we're here to support e-com businesses in any way they want. And I understand you're working with a bunch of learning, people that are selling online courses. I mean, what better way to welcome them to the course than to send a handwritten note from the head of the organization? So that's
Totally.
we're really trying to do that. There was a company also based in Southern California, I think San Diego. That's kind of one of like the Shopify of that space. You probably know it better than I would. But we're trying to reach out and build connections into those systems too, because like right now we have Salesforce integration and Shopify and HubSpot, Zapier and Make, but we're always looking for more ways to embrace and extend.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah, it's funny you're talking about all of this stuff right now, and I'm excited to just try you guys out with like a Dream 100 prospecting campaign for agency clients on our end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, would happy to hook you up after
Yeah.
the call or whatever. But yeah, I mean, and if people are interested, they should check out. And I don't want to be a pitch man, but check out handwritten.com, click business, and request free samples,
Oh,
and
awesome.
then we'll send you a whole sample kit.
I think what we'll do too is I'll put a link to that in the show notes too, so everyone will have access to it. But yeah, I mean, I think what you're doing is awesome, and I love how someone could have the ability to actually customize their handwriting. I definitely won't be doing that because my handwriting is
Yeah,
is
me too.
literally like a chicken. But
I mean, we have famous celebrities. It's pretty
yeah,
crazy who does it. I don't have my handwriting in there.
this is so wild that you just said this too, because we have a big celebrity client that that we sell their fragrance. And this would literally post purchase would literally people would lose it. Their fans would absolutely lose
I
it
wonder
if
if
we
we're
were.
talking about the same client. We can talk offline
We'll
because we
talk
have,
offline about
yeah,
it. Yeah. But if we like just thinking about this, because we're working with like a venture group that represents a lot of different brands, a lot of different celebrity brands.
hmm,
And like post purchase or second purchase, or like let's say on birthday that celebrity sends it, and you go through the you go through the process of actually like having the design team build to their handwriting and have it come through. That would be wild. I
yeah.
know it
We
would be.
we have one woman. She's in like Ohio, and I guess her husband's like a venture capitalist, or they have more money. It's crazy, but every 2 or 3 years they have their kids' handwriting redone, and it's not cheap. It's like $1,500, but they're trying to tombstone how their handwriting looks over time. So they have like record of, okay, when they're 3 it looks like this, when they're 6 it looks like this, and then also they throw these lavish birthday parties for these kids, and they make them send out handwritten note follow up. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it's the things that you can do with automation now
I know.
is wild. Yeah.
We have another guy. He's just a piano. He's a piano tuner in Pennsylvania, And he has an automation set up through Zapier. Um, and with this automation, after he tunes your piano, he sends you a thank you note for the opportunity. He's not in your house for a year because your piano is in tune for a year. When he returns to your house a year later, that handwritten note is often standing up on the piano. And that's just real estate you can't buy. Like nobody's going to print out an email and stick it to their piano or, print out a text message or anything. But that, you know, their most prized possession in their most fancy room of their house, and they put a billboard for your brand right there. I mean, that's kind of a testament to the power of handwritten notes. So even if you don't use handwritten or a company like us, just try sending an actual handwritten note and seeing what can happen. It's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. Or just upload the whole list, zap it in, and have it printed out. That's cool. And I'm curious, what's the turnaround too? Like from when something comes through to when it gets fulfilled?
Typically, one day for us to write it out. It might take a few extra hours, like a day and a half total, for us to get it in the mail because we QA everything. And then the post office is the risky part. There, it could be up to four days. So this isn't. When I was in the texting business, it was short, urgent. This is longer, not urgent, but important. Just because it's not urgent doesn't mean it's not important. So, but what's also nice about it is if you're a salesperson, we have an iPhone app or an Android app. You can just whip out your phone after a sales appointment, type in a note, and then 4 or 5 days later they'll get it. So, you can
Wow.
kind of play that timing. Or after you sell something to somebody on your e-com store, send the handwritten note. The Depending on your fulfillment, the note will typically come a few days after the product, which is good because it's a reinforcement and a secondary type message, so it helps reinforce the brand.
That's amazing. I love it. I'm going to definitely check out that app. That sounds very
Yeah,
cool.
man.
Like just hopping off a call and sending a little quick note in the mail. That's great. Very cool. Awesome. Well, I know we're running out of time, and David, it was great having you on today. Is there anything else that you wanted to leave with, or any other place where people can get in touch with you, or
Yeah, just I'm on Twitter. David B is in boy, WACHS. Our LinkedIn, our Facebook, they're all available at handwrytten.com on the bottom. We do a lot of videos for YouTube. So, like if you want to integrate with Pipedrive or Shopify or Salesforce, we have all those videos available on YouTube too. So, check those out.
very cool. Well, thanks, David. It was great having you on today.
Thank you so much, Mark. Pleasure.
Thanks.